fighter has the highest fight IQ?
I don't think there's nobody in the game that has the fight IQ that I have.
Off the charts.
His IQ
the
is
highest
insane.
fight IQ maybe ever.
This guy hits hard. He's tough. He's this, he's that. And this guy has a dream. But my fight IQ will win this fight.
Welcome to the Fight IQ podcast. We're back with another episode of Post-Fight Perspective here for UFC Fight Night, Buckley versus Covington. Very exciting fight card overall. Honestly, it started out a little bit slow, but once the engine got hot, it was pretty freaking sweet. All right, Josephine Knudsen versus Pierre Rodriguez. Now, we'll just speed past this one kind of. Pierre fraud-checked Knudsen. Really good with the takedowns. Knudsen needs to get some takedown defense here for sure. Not really much to say other than Pierre just kind of dominated her on the ground.
Yeah, one thing's for sure about women's MMA. If we start having anything fun start brewing, there's going to be some fighter out of left field that's going to come and just fucking put the kibosh on all that.
It's going to get taken away.
We
from
start
us.
getting fun fighters, bro. Just don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Tom's getting fraud checked. I was pretty stoked about this chick fighting, dude. She had good striking, fraud checked. So we'll see. We'll see if anything fun can start happening in the women's divisions anytime soon.
Don't get your hopes up, though. On to the next fight, Davy Grant versus Ramon Taveras. This was a good fight. Ramon Taveras didn't throw enough in this fight. This was actually kind of a winnable fight for him, but really his volume was just pretty low. But he was actually getting outclassed on the feet. It was at the beginning it was patient, but a nice striking battle, like good to look at. It was kind of fun. Davy was landing the nicer kicks. He was landing a lot of kicks to the body, a lot of really good leg kicks. And then once the leg kicks started taking effect on Ramon, he started throwing those classic Davy Grant hooks, those long hooks that I was calling in the preview video. Those were landing pretty good. Ramon would land a nice shot here and there, but realistically, it just wasn't enough. And really, the story of this fight was Davy Grant was landing nice leg kicks and outboxing him as well.
Yeah, Davy Grant is consistently one of those people that's going to get in there and make it a fight. We've mentioned this in our predictions video. He's a really tough out, honestly. Like, he's not an easy person to beat. He's like a Francisco Trinaldo, where he's just always at, around that, probably top 40 to 25 range of fighters. And he's just going to keep winning. And, he just has these small slip-ups. They could even be robberies. Because some of the fights that he's lost, he should have probably won. I think he could have scored that fight against Cheeto the second time towards Davy Grant.
The Daniel Marcos fight as well was close.
Yeah, definitely a crafty vet, man. And he's going to fraud check you for sure.
Yeah.
Probably one of our best fraud checkers in the UFC right now, Davy Grant.
Yeah. Agreed. Up the card to Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth.
Yeah, this ended up actually not being a bad fight. It definitely went to decision. It was a little slower pace. Hey, now I see the hate. You know what? It was one of those situations where I think, as far as women's MMA goes, there were moments where it was entertaining. There were some cool grappling exchanges that happened in the second round. You got to give me a little credit there.
This is getting worse. What's going on?
Hey man. Listen. I'm trying to get some hope for the division, right?
Okay. I'll hear you.
Do I think Miranda Maverick or Jamie Lynn Horth is going to be the next thing? No. I think Miranda Maverick did enough tonight, but the fact that she had as much resistance from Jamie Lynn Horth tells me one of two things. Miranda Maverick's not that good, or Jamie Lynn Horth is better than we thought, but not as good as Miranda Maverick, which is still not great. So we're in a situation where it's okay, she did enough. It wasn't the fight that I think the Miranda Maverick people wanted to see. But hey, it is what it is. It wasn't a bad fight. It was definitely a matter of athletics in this one.
I think if there are Miranda Maverick people out there,
hey man, there's one.
That's exactly what they're accustomed to seeing. I think that was exactly what they expected. But let's be honest. Let's give Miranda Maverick some credit. She did out-grapple Jamie Lynn Horth for pretty much the entire fight. I thought towards the end of the fight, she started actually putting together some boxing combinations towards the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you've been trying to grapple this entire fight, and now you're telling me that you have the striking advantage? Why have you not just been piecing her up on the feet this entire time?
Well, that was the big thing with that fight is like going into the third round, Jamie Lynn Horth knew that she was down 2. So I think she just started swinging.
No, Miranda.
And that opened up a lot. But it opened up those opportunities for her to really kind of start taking advantage of that striking advantage.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see that because Jamie Lynn Horth's game was so heavily grappling based up to that point. Miranda Maverick's game was so heavily grappling based up to that point.
Yeah.
Where we didn't really get to see what could have been until the end of it.
I know. It was like at the end there, Miranda was actually like slipping and ripping and throwing some good shit. Yep. And I was like, bro, where has this been?
Too little, too late.
When the fight started, I was like, damn, Jamie Lynn Horth is pretty big. And then,
yes, for the division, she's big.
All that muscle for nothing.
All that muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending was my favorite of this fight, honestly.
What's that?
Once the final bell rang, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go.
Wow.
I was stoked for that one to be over.
Yeah.
But I do like Miranda Maverick fight, man. She's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Up the card to Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima.
I think this was a great showcase from Lima, a great decision.
Yeah.
I feel like Miles Johns, he's not the most active fighter in the world, but Ryan made this comparison in the predictions video to Yoel Romero, and I was very skeptical when he said it, but it's true. He's a big moment merchant. He's going to get outlanded most of the fight. In this case, he did, and he's only going to search for like just one big shot, KOs. And against somebody like Lima, you're going to need a lot more than that. Lima was doing this sick fucking duck under to take the back too. And it was slick to watch because he literally just had an answer for everything Miles Johns was trying to do and outclassed him, especially in the later rounds there. So I was really stoked about this performance. And Miles Johns is a great win. Do I think he would have beat Cody Garbrandt? No. I think Cody, because he was originally supposed to fight Cody Garbrandt. So I think maybe the fight to make would probably be maybe Lima versus maybe a Cody Garbrandt or like a Peyton Talbot if he wins this fight would be sick.
But this fight, I think, so this fight was at featherweight, and I think Felipe Lima has fought most of his career at featherweight. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if Felipe is going to stay at featherweight or bantamweight. Do you know? We'll see. Hopefully bantamweight. There's some good matchups for him at bantamweight.
Yeah.
Up the card, Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. I got this one dead wrong.
So wrong.
Yeah.
This was a great one, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Woodson, man, he's got that boxing. He's got that reach. He knows how to use it. And he's been looking good consistently at this point where it's hard to bet against him.
Yeah, I'm going to stop doubting him. This is like the same thing where when I was talking about in the prior video where I was like, eventually I just stopped doubting Buckley when we were talking about the Buckley prediction. Same thing with Woodson. I think I just have to stop doubting him. He's very good.
Yeah,
I think Woodson definitely did the right thing here. He was very patient in the first 2 minutes of the first round and really just let Padilla go out there and try and have a big moment. But I feel like he really gassed himself out trying to finish Woodson because by the halfway point of the first round, he was pretty cooked. And Woodson he's one of these fighters that he's going to build momentum, kind of like a Max Holloway. He's not going to start fast, but once he gets going, he's unstoppable. If he's feeling himself, he's getting real nice and saucy with his combinations, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah.
He's really good at controlling range. His footwork is amazing. In that finishing sequence, I thought it was sick as hell because he hit the uppercut hook and Padilla started circling towards his power side and he switched to southpaw and then threw the hooks from southpaw. And it's a very slight little movement there, but stuff like that is so high level and you don't see it too often. Yeah. Fighters don't know that, you can switch stance just by, just doing this real quick. Yeah. And if you're competent, you can really fucking get a sick finish on a very good opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Fernando Padilla does have good boxing. I thought he was going to be a little bit faster in this fight, but Sean Woodson with the range control just got it done. I mean, like you're talking about with the little shifts in movement, the little stance switches to control the cage, because most people would just, if someone circled off to the side, they would stay in the same stance and end up following them
and pivot
or having to pivot into them, and now you're a little exposed. You're turning directly into them. But yeah, that little stance switch to cut him off, be able to throw that lead hand right away. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Up the card, Joel Alvarez versus Jakar Close.
Man, Joel Alvarez is a problem for the division, I think. We are finding a new prospect here. I mean, not a new prospect at this point, but man, somebody that's really had some momentum. He's had some great finishes up to this point. The fucking knee into the snatching of his neck, almost going for a submission, and then just starting to hammer fist him while holding his head, like rough, man.
Yeah.
But
it was
that
like
was brutal.
like dude,
He was already KO'd too.
Yeah.
That's the
What was it?
Yeah, he was KO'd because he hit him with a flying knee. He hit him with a hook, rocked him.
Yeah.
Flying knee KOs him, and then before he hits the ground from being KO'd, he catches him in the fucking.
I know, dude. I was going crazy because in the predictions, I was like, bro, I could see, because he has the grappling advantage too. I was like, dude, I could see him hurting Jakar and then choking him out. And so during the fight, I was like, oh my God, it's about to happen. It's about to happen.
Dude.
But then I was like, oh no, he's already out.
Yeah,
and then wait, never mind. Hold on.
Yeah. Dude, I saw a meme. It was like he got a submission, a knockout, and a TKO all in the same finish.
Yes,
So, dude,
100%.
Like,
But Jakar Close started the first round like pretty frantic, and like it was kind of dicey for the first like minute.
I didn't see much success from Jakar.
No, not
Most
much.
of my
But
notes on this was just like, damn, Jakar Close just got his ass whooped. Like,
he did. He did.
Not really any success anywhere.
Yeah.
And like you said, frantic, just trying to figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was very tough to watch. Honestly, it kind of mismatched.
Yeah.
It, but,
Yeah.
That was definitely a mismatch.
Alvarez in the top 15 though, man, here pretty soon, because Jakar Close isn't that far. If we can get him versus like, Gaethje's going to retire soon. But like down the line, that'd be a sick fight, But these people are going to start hanging it up soon.
Yeah, dude, a Joel Alvarez versus like a Carlos Diego Fajeda would be like that would be a good fight.
Money.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Drew Dober.
Yeah, Drew Dober.
Drew Dober too, but Drew Dober's not in the top 15, and I think is Diego Fajeda like kind of on the. Is he in the top?
I think
15?
he's on the fringe.
He's on the fringe. Yeah, he's a little bit closer to the top 15 than Dober is.
Okay.
All right, up the card, Michael Johnson versus Ottman Azaitar.
Daniel.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
Should have gone with us,
Shouldn't
bro.
have doubted him on that one.
Should have came over to this side.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's all good.
Martin
Michael
called it on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is a big I told you so for Andrew, because I literally called it exactly how it would happen. Well, not exactly how it would happen. I said straight punches. And Michael Johnson just found the lead hook really early. He didn't find it early, but he was looking for it early. Ottman came out, and he must have watched tape on Michael Johnson and has been like, oh, all you got to do is just fucking flatline him. Yeah. And he's only looking for a big overhand on an entry. That Michael Johnson. So he's waiting for him to get close, and then he just bomb an overhand. And immediately, like, Johnson kind of recognized this and started catching it and then trying to counter with the lead hook. And he started finding it towards the end of the first round. And I feel like it was just a poor game plan from Ottman, and it was very predictable. And Johnson made the right reads. And what was kind of like getting frustrating was he was landing these shots and wobbling them, and then he would just fucking throw a shitty kick after. It's like, dude, use your hands, man. You're going to finish him. Yeah. But I'm glad he found the finish. He went life or death in the pocket with Ottman Azaitar, and he came out victorious.
Yeah, I mean, that's his game. I don't think we're at this point we're going to see Michael Johnson really like give up that style. He loves sitting down in that stance and just fucking sitting on his hips and just bah. He loves it. He loves it too much to not do it. And, I mean, like I was talking about a little bit in the preview, like Ottman Azaitar really just has that one big punch. And it's kind of like, it's if you're Ottman Azaitar, you should be pretty confident going into that fight, but it's a little bit of false confidence because you see people have knocked out Michael Johnson before. You have punching power. So you're like, I'm going to land that shot. But you can't go into a Michael Johnson fight thinking that way. Like it's just not the right way to go about it. But yeah, happy with Michael Johnson. He didn't retire.
Nope.
We still get more Michael Johnson, which whatever. Maybe
he looked
make
good.
a title run.
Nah, never mind. I can't say it. Nah, Michael Johnson should have retired on a KO.
Yeah.
All right. Should we go up to the main card?
Yeah, this is where things went south for the boys on picks.
I don't know. I did okay.
Well,
Yeah.
you got Navajo and you got Manel, but I only got Navajo on the main card.
He had Marcos too, no?
No, I didn't have Marcos.
Oh, okay, he switched.
No, we didn't do overall. I think we all went like we had different picks, but I think we all wound up like 7 and 6 on picks for this card. It was pretty bad.
Yeah,
pretty bad. A night of picks for the Fight IQ boys, but.
To be fair, though, how could any of us predict some of the fucking finishes?
I know.
Goodness.
I'm sorry I didn't predict that Cub Swanson was going to hop in a time machine and go back to fucking 2007.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't predict that, boys.
Oh, man. All right, but let's talk about the first fight on the main card, which is Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tokos. Man, a little one-dimensional from Sterling. I think this might be a case of he is very good technically, but maybe not the best fighter. And what I mean by that is like he's always just going to kind of fight like he's sparring. He's never going to fight like he's in a fight, like it's life or death. At least that's what he has finishes before coming into the UFC, and he had the finish on the Contender Series. But I think if it's not like a finish that's clearly there for him, he's not going to go search for it.
Yes.
But he did technically put on a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good performance by him in the sense that he got some experience. He's still like an up-and-coming guy. The cage time is going to be valuable for him at this point in his career. What I did like, well, here's the thing with a lot of CKB fighters is a lot of them have to fight pretty. Like everything has to be nice and pretty at their range, controlled. And unless you're named Dan Hooker, you really don't have like a plan B in a lot of sense. Like Dan Hooker is one of those dudes that just comes in there with every skill set, and he's a warrior. He doesn't have to fight as pretty as the rest of them, but like Olberg, Adesanya, Navajo Sterling at this point, like they all, and then even Blood Diamond, they have to be completely in control of everything, or it goes south for them really quick. So
yeah, I was actually watching this fight, going like, "Oh, this is like an Olberg with less power."
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I was thinking as I was watching it. I mean, I took pretty good notes for this fight, too. Like, Sterling did hurt him to the body a couple times. Like, in round 1, he hurt him to the body. But this is what I'm saying. It's like he had Tokos hurt in front of him, like, on multiple occasions, and just sat back, threw a leg kick, threw a little hook combination up against the fence, but didn't really, like, follow up too much. Man. What else I have? I mean, like round 3, because it's hard to remember these fights just offhand. But I mean, at the end of round 3, I literally wrote down Sterling has good technique, but not the best killer instinct in this fight.
Yes.
So it's like, good performance, but the finish was there for him a couple times where he didn't take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the one thing looking at this fight and looking back at his Contender Series fight too. That knockout that he got on the Contender Series was kind of reminiscent of those Adesanya. We're both throwing hooks. I'm going to get that lean back, and I'm just going to catch you a little harder, a little sooner. And so it's not like I was expecting him to come in and just put on a clinic where he was going to be so much better than Tokos. But he looks good as long as you don't move. Like, it was one of those situations where, as you mentioned, it almost feels like he's doing bag work. He throws combinations like you're a bag. Yeah. And it's not necessarily like the reactive kind of response to, oh shit, I heard him, I need to follow up. It's like, no, I'm going to wait and throw my next combo when it's the time again. And it's like, there's not quite that urgency with him. And I mean, he's, came into this 5-0. He's really young in his career. Prior to that, it was all kickboxing, which, is a little bit different when it comes to some of those kind of finishing scenarios and how they kind of play out. But he's early in his career. I think he'll get better. I just think he needs to find a little bit more at the end of his combos, or a little bit more at the end of those situations where he gets the advantage.
Yeah, Yeah.
Tukos was doing like this really weird thing where he would like try and no sell all of the damage he was taking. Like he would eat like fucking 6 big shots, get kneed in the face, and he'd be like, I didn't just get my ass beat there. He'd be like up against the fence, and then he'd just be like showed up in a ball, like in a fetal position. UFC 5, like when they just spam the head movement, every time ground strikes. And then, it was just very strange fight from Tukos. So I could see how that would get like, it'd be hard to hit a target like that.
Yeah.
Sure. He's already a big blob of a like kind of build of a person,
Yeah.
Big shoulders, big, like kind of like a burly build. And so it's like, if he's just like in a ball, it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. No, for sure. Keeping a high guard maybe was kind of saved him, but
he was close a few times too.
Yeah. All right, let's go up to the next fight. Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. This was a good fight. I enjoyed this fight. I thought it was very close. This was probably the closest fight on the card. The fact of the matter is Daniel Marcos landed the harder shots. Although it was close. I mean, they were both looking really, really good. But, Marcos rocked him with an overhand right in round 1. And besides that, it was like pretty even for round 1. Adrian Yanez was like, I kind of described this a little bit in the preview video. I thought Adrian Yanez was going to be technically better, which he was, but Marcos with his pressure and slight edge and power was really what got it done in this one.
Yeah, I think this could be one of those situations where the fight maybe raised both fighters' stock a bit, because it goes to show you that both of them are entertaining at least. Hey, Yanez put on a good performance even if he got the loss here. Daniel Marcos looked good. I think for this, Daniel Marcos will probably get a jump in competition, and we'll see if he can rise to that occasion. But yeah, I think that was an enjoyable fight. As far as if we're going to watch it go to decision, I wouldn't mind it. I watched all 15 minutes of that one and enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sick fight, man. And I mentioned that in my notes too, that overhand that he landed in the first round. It was like right after Yanez hits him with that exact same punch. And then he's like, just turns around, throws the exact same punch right back at him. And it showed the power difference in between the two.
Yeah.
So he really had a lot of success there. I found that he wasn't really having a lot of success in the combination striking against Yanez as much as just throwing the single shots. He was catching him a lot when he was doing that. But when he'd be in the pocket exchanging with him, Yanez would get the better of him.
Yeah.
And then
he rocked him in round 2 with a left hook. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like it kind of – I think I even said this too, where I was like, oh, one of them's going to have a good round 1, one's going to have a good round 2, and then it's kind of going to come down to round 3. And that's pretty much what happened. Like Marcos rocked him in round 1. Yanez rocked him with that left hook in round 2. And round 3 was kind of –
Round 3 is annoying, bro.
Round 3 disappointed me. Yanez pulled Gilly.
Yeah.
And fucking flubbed the fight. Honestly, like once it happened, I wrote it down. I was like, "Oh, Yanez pulled Gilly and flubbed the fight. That's it."
Yeah, dude. Like when you're, because especially the fact that he just wet blanketed you for the first 2 minutes of the third round, and like really just like held you down, and you used the energy to get back up. Why are you going for clinches, like pressing him against the fence?
Yeah.
And like I will say though that Marcos did a really good job like eating the clock in certain positions, because that is a part of the game. If you're up on the round, you're trying to get the decision win at this point. Eating seconds away on the clock is a legitimate strategy, and he would do a great job getting into a safe range and just walking the octagon. Like it looks like he's just like walking around, but he ate like 10 seconds every time he did that. And, when you're talking about a 5-minute fight and you're trying to win that third round, like that's what secured him the fight. And Yanez didn't capitalize on any of the moments he had. So,
yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Man, anything more on that one, or should we move up?
I think let's keep going.
All right, let's do it. Vitor Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. Legitimately the opposite of what usually happened. Petrino, although this was like a very low volume, not very exciting fight, I mean, what a finish for Jacoby. And it was like identical to the Masvidal getting KO'd by Kamaru. Yeah. It was like almost identical. But legitimately the opposite of what happens in every fucking Dustin Jacoby fight happened in this fight. Usually Dustin is the one who's ahead on strikes and then gets damaged later in the fight. Vitor Petrino was ahead on strikes in a very low volume fight, and then out of nowhere in round 3, Dustin Jacoby just whoop-ha! Beautiful, beautiful right hand.
It was very frustrating to watch, man.
Yeah, it was.
Those first 2 rounds were fucking lame, honestly. Like it's like, at what point do we start like getting on people for just refusing to engage on striking? Because like if you did that, like holding somebody against the fence, they would start talking to you about some action there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I wasn't seeing enough offense out of Jacoby to like really.
But I feel like this fight would be the argument against that because it's Dustin Jacoby. And he even said on the mic afterwards, he was like, look, I heard you guys booing and trust me, I wanted to throw more, but this was my game plan. I knew I needed to stay patient and find my moment. Dang,
dude. Like having the game plan to wait until the last 2 minutes of a 15-minute fight to fucking throw something.
I don't think that was his exact game plan.
It's wild. It's like, all right, boys, I'm a fucking run away for the first fucking I don't think he's like, all right, at 3 minutes and 44 seconds of round 3, I'm going to fucking throw a right hand. Bro, I think he probably wanted to do it sooner, obviously, but. Dude, it was a great shot, though. Like you said, it was Petrino was trying to counter his straight punches with the lead hook.
Yeah.
And just like what happened with Masvidal, straight punches beat arcing punches, got caught. And what was sick, too, is he even rolled the hook afterwards.
Yeah.
That was sick, too.
His left hand was a little bit low. Like he could have got if Petrino like read that properly and just like kind of faded off the line and threw like a right round kick, like oof, it would have been so nasty. But man, Dustin landed right on the button. Yeah. All right, let's go up to Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva.
Man, I mean, Manel Kape looked like the Manel Kape that he keeps telling us that he can look like.
Yeah. I feel like we learned who he is now.
Yeah. I felt like I saw this one coming a little bit. Maybe it was just like a little bit of hope that I was feeling. But Manel Kape is purely a counter striker. If he doesn't have someone in front of him walking him down, he is going to throw 10 strikes over a 3-round fight. He needs someone that's going to get in his face so he can counter, because he's not going to go first.
He's really fast, man, and it really suits him, to have that style. I'm just like, where was that this whole time?
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, it was a great performance. You really can't knock that. Is it worthy of a title shot? I think he's too low in the rankings to really. He's number 9. He could be number 13. That dude was a killer, and he really believed in himself and was hunting for the finish the whole time.
Yeah, but at flyweight, dude, there's not much else you can do.
I agree, dude. Pantoja beat him already. Like he's beat him all. So
I know, but if you want to talk about like who got the closest, like the Manel Kape versus Pantoja fight was super boring. The first fight, it was like practically nothing happened the entire fight. So technically, he got the closest.
I wish, dude. If that Manel Kape shows up against Pantoja, I'm hype.
Yeah.
But
if the one that shows up against fucking Mukayev shows up,
we got a different problem. Yeah. Well, here's my thing with this is I don't see that as a title shot. There's part of me that's just bummed out because I think Dana is going to make Royval Pantoja again. I think we're going to get that as the next title shot. I like Manel Kape versus Kai Kara France instead. They already have beef. It would be a title eliminator fight. Manel Kape keeps calling him out, keeps yelling at him, calling him all sorts of various slurs. Like, there's clearly something there. I think that's a more entertaining fight. I mean, it's a more entertaining fight than fucking Pantoja versus Royval. But
yeah, for sure.
I think that's probably what we're going to see. And Manel Kape versus Kai Kara France could be a main event on like a fight night. I would watch that. Absolutely.
It could be a feature fight on the Saudi Arabia card with Izzy. It could be a feature fight on the pay-per-view in Australia,
Yeah, that's the big fight I think we should make next for Manel Kape, because then I think it's going to give him an opportunity to fight a striker that I think would be equivalent.
I agree. I like that matchup. Manel Kape didn't take any damage here.
No.
I think Manel Kape is the kind of guy that you want to keep active. I feel like time away will hurt Manel Kape.
Yeah, now that you say that, I feel like that's the hottest matchup at flyweight right now.
It's got to be.
That's right now. I think that's the funnest matchup you can make. Just speculating.
It could be.
Yeah,
could be. All right, let's move up. Goodness gracious, Cub Swanson.
Oh.
Well,
I didn't realize that was the Cub Swanson we were going to see.
Yo, fool, I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I fucked up on my pick when they zoomed in on him before the fight, and he just did the cholo, dude, and he had the stash, and I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, Cub Swanson's about to beat the shit out of you. But, yeah, man, he had another great performance. I don't know if he could have predicted that, but Cub Swanson honestly came out and put on just a masterclass. He showed that he's still tough, that he could still take the shots. And was showing some sick head movement. He was fighting from Goblin style, which we love here so much. Big straight punches. And then he ended up getting the finish with a long hook cross with the knuckles turned in. Yeah. Which is very sick because you have like a lot of different ranges for hooks. You know, if you have your knuckles turned in, you can go out far. Beer mug, it's like a little medium range. And then when you have it all the way tucked in. Yeah. But
that 1-2 is like the same 1-2 that Tom Aspinall really likes.
Yeah. It's like it's straight and then it hooks at the last minute.
Yeah.
But dude, it was beautiful watching it. Swanson in flow state. And if you look at the numbers, you're like, oh, that was a pretty close fight. But dude, watch the fight, dude. Cub Swanson was in control the entire time. And Billy had his moments. Like there was a couple times where Billy would close the distance, grab the clinch, land some good knees, land some good clinch strikes. But bro, at distance, like it was just. And even when Cub was getting hit, like he wasn't getting hit that hard, wasn't getting hit that clean. Man, Cub was flowing. He looked so
great
good.
Fight from Cub Swanson.
Yeah,
maybe his last one. It sounds like he's going to think about it. It sounds like maybe he'll keep going.
It sounds like he wants to.
I wouldn't hate to see a retirement off of that performance, though.
Yeah.
It's not a bad way to go out. He's only got to go up in featherweight from there, or maybe they give him another fun fight just because it sounds like he's kind of in that maybe one more Dustin Poirier sort of situation. So you give him a fun one and let him ride into the sunset.
No, dude, this was the one.
Yeah, this is the one.
I think it had to have been.
Like Billy Quarantillo, right? If you're Cub Swanson, the Billy Quarantillo matchup is your fun fight matchup. Yeah. Like if you want to give Cub like a higher ranked fun fight matchup, we're not going to be happy for Cub at the end of it. You know what I mean? No. This was a perfect situation where we could see a fun fight, be happy for Cub at the end of it, and then say, "See you later, Cub."
Cub Swanson versus Nate the Train Landwire in Boston. Boys, what do you think of that, dude?
Oh man,
no. This was that matchup.
Dude, I don't care what you guys think. Cub Swanson showed me that he's a fucking vampire yesterday, bro. That dude hasn't aged in fucking 20 years. He's looked exactly the same. He just has a mustache now. Vampire.
Man, I think you go up against someone who hits a little harder than Quarantillo. I think it's a bad night for Cub.
Maybe.
Because listen, Billy was hitting him at moments. Like round 3 before the finish, was a little touch and go at moments. You were like, oh my God, is Billy gonna get like? Billy had a few moments throughout the fight, especially in round 3 before the finish.
I think it was round 2.
Well, round 2 he landed a big knee.
Mm-hmm. 2 big knees, I think.
Yeah. But round 3 was like back and forth. And then out of nowhere, fucking Billy just stands there. Cub just whoop-ah. Wonderful.
Dude, the 3-2, it's got to be the most successful combination in boxing for MMA.
Was that what he was using to set it up?
Just the hook too?
Dude, he was just bombing.
Or the hook cross?
What's that?
Cross, like rolling.
It's just that tight right hand.
Yeah.
Setting it up with that jab or setting it up with the lead hook.
Yeah,
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff. I didn't realize that he was setting up the right hand with kind of like that slap 3 prior. But yeah, freaking nice combination.
Yep.
All right. Up to Colby versus Joaquin Buckley.
Ooh, we got this one right.
Yeah, we did.
Boy, did we get this one right.
I don't think we could have got it wrong. This was the only way for this fight to go.
To be honest, if I'm being real with you guys, when Hulk Hogan and fucking Chael Sonnen came out, dude, and they had the American flag, I wanted to start believing, and then I was just like, Martin, just watch what's about to happen. Like,
to me, I saw that and I was like, Colby is about to be joining these dudes soon.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, I wanted to start believing, dude,
Yeah.
and then the second I saw Joaquin Buckley start throwing those combinations, I was like, this is gonna.
Especially because you know that Buckley has amazing cardio and he's not going to tire out from throwing that shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's very efficient with his what he chooses to do at what times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his southpaw lead hand is so nasty.
Mm-hmm.
He throws that little uppercut to the body. I think that was the same shot that cut Colby in the first round, but he was landing that shot to the stomach over and over and over again, which I think is the great move to take with Colby because that is his best weapon, is his gas tank.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can start compromising that early, you're going to start getting those desperation shots, and I think that's kind of what we saw out of him.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely like pretty fortunate for him too that he was throwing that shovel uppercut, rear uppercut to the body, and Colby just happened to like duck into one of them in round 1, which is what cut him.
Yeah,
man. I think one of the things that Buckley does that just is so, not only beautiful to watch but sets him apart from a lot of other strikers is how he's able to stay in the perfect range when he's marching you down in these combinations.
Yeah.
It's almost like when Mike Tyson would come in on you with that peekaboo style. He's so good at following you with his feet, and like everything he throws is so tight and with like just max amounts of power and accurate too. It's very beautiful to watch, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the honestly, the thing that excites me the most about Buckley's future from what I saw from this fight was his takedown defense too. I mean, it was easy. Like Colby was not even close to those. Colby got one takedown in round 2 and had side control for a little bit. But I mean, Buckley's ability to, even when he's in a bad position, to be able to get out of those bad positions too. But in round 1, when Colby is like the strongest and they're dry and it should be the easiest for Colby to get the takedowns, I mean, they weren't even close. Buckley's sprawl was just like,
yeah, dude,
strong,
aggressive sprawl,
strong,
heavy, aggressive sprawl, dude. That was disrespectful.
Yeah. So that's what I love to see from this fight,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Good old Numansa had some call-outs at the end of the fight. Did y'all catch that?
He did. He wanted us. He wanted us to choose,
and
He wanted us to choose
Kamaru Usman, and I think I don't know if I'm on video saying this, but I think I brought this up to Ryan. Like I was like, yo, I think. And he was very shocked about that angle. I was like, yo, dude, I think.
No. Like, once I thought about it, I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, because I think what I said was that if they make, who was it they were trying to make with JDM?
Usman.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
talking
Like
about
if they
JDM.
if they didn't do it, then you do Buckley versus Usman. If they put JDM against someone else, then yeah.
JDM versus Prates, Usman versus Numansa, dude.
There we go. I think that's what we were saying. I think that's
now
actually
we're cooking, boys.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what we said in the other video.
Yeah.
What do you think about the doctor stoppage?
I mean, I was thinking about that, and it was one of those things where it got brought up that like the doctor, because I heard the big thing was, oh man, there's 18 seconds left. Why stop it now? Why not just let the end run out? Get to the end of the round. But the doctor had to come in there and assess it at the moment. The eyelid was nasty. Could he have kept going? It sounded like he wanted to, but then there's part of me that thinks Colby was kind of happy to be done with it too.
Dude, there was so much blood. Like
it was a nasty cut.
Look at his Buckley's knees, bro. Like it was thick, disgusting blood. And another thing too, man, was like they told him in like round 2 that he needed to start protecting it a little bit better.
That's true.
And so he knew about it. And to be fair, I feel like Colby was really fucking with the cut a lot. It might have been bothering him. The blood was probably getting into his eyes. But from the moment it happened, every 5 seconds he was rubbing on it, and the exchanges that he would get in with Buckley too, where he has to use his head on that side to create pressure and to try and get these takedowns. That's not helping either. So it's only going to get worse. And it looked really bad. Like there was blood everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, either way, Buckley was going to win this one. That's just how this was going to go.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know what you thought about this card. I think it was a great card overall. Started a little slow, but we got there. We got there. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate everybody watching. We will catch you on the next one. Adios.
Peace.